inside, Nigma on the dire side. And it is a best of 3, so we will see more out of these teams than what we saw yesterday. And I mostly also am curious to see how the teams adapt mid-series. But let's see their baseline. Let's see where they start off. That Chen is banned, as expected. Snapfire, Slardar, Nyx Assassin Puck, and Omni Knight banned as well, with the IO first pick.
I think this is, you look at those 3 bans from B8, right? Those are the heroes that Kuro was stuck on for the qualifiers. Every single chance they could, they would draft Snapfire, they would pick up Slardar first, they would second pick a Chen like all the time. And then this Io is another one of those heroes that Nigma has been frequently grabbing and has not had the most success with it so far. They do have the advantage of being able to play it for both Miracle and GH, but I honestly feel like it always looks better on GH. I'm not sure if Nigma is a carry IO team. At least from my perception anyway, just like sometimes they have games where they try and run it with Miracle and it doesn't look good.
No,
they are doing the same thing.
Like
they want to punish if you have any high cooldown ultis. Mars has 1, but he can still fight even without the ulti, so it's not going to be that effective. But I like Nigma's approach. I think B8, they should have been ready about this one, and they picked AA instantly against the IO, so they're going to stop any kind of healing. Mars could set things up pretty easily with his arena, follow it up globally from AA ulti.
But again, like B8, they probably knew exactly what was going to be picked here. Yeah. Right? Based off of just history. And when you are that stubborn of a drafter, like many of these legendary captains are, right? You want to say, you know, Kuro's a stubborn drafter, but so is Puppey, right? Puppey's had that same trait. Well, if you are stubborn in your ideas of openers for drafts and such, but you don't have the most complete hold on the game, you don't have the complete idea of what this patch is about, well, then your stubbornness can actually play against you. You become too predictable. And like later on, when he starts figuring out the patch a lot, then he understands every single step of the draft that's going to happen once he has these openers and is able to just, you know, dominate teams through a drafting advantage. But when you don't have that complete vision of a patch, then it's just a weakness.
Does that mean that even though we've seen Nigma do well with the IO Tiny, we don't really like it?
No, I'm a big fan.
I mean, we still think it's good, right?
Yeah, a classic combo.
It is. Like, you can play extremely fast, go from lane to lane, always have ways to stop a split push. And they're not even banning out Pio's heroes. He loves to play his Phantom Lancer. They have a built-in cleave with Tiny's 3. He also plays Terrorblade a lot. I don't think they're afraid of these heroes at the moment.
I do like B8's opener, even though if it was anybody else, I would think this is kind of bad. You know, this is such a B8 hero, but like from the limited games I've seen from them being able to run a mid-Dendy Mars and then being able to have follow-up from their supports to lay damage into that. Their supports seem to be very offensive mindset. I don't know what it is, but they just don't seem to pick up like a whole lot of utility. It seems to be a larger focus on them just being able to output damage off of their course initiation.
Oh, look at that hand from GH. Man looks jacked.
Yeah.
Been hitting the gym.
Flexing those biceps and triceps, you know?
All right, so we have got the Mars coming out for Denny. That will be Denny's hero. We did have the Puck first phase banned to allow for that. They have run this tournament as well against Infamous, actually one of the games that they ended up winning. And other than the Puck, everything else that they played with that, well, almost everything else is still in the pool, but most notably the Timbersaw, they played with that one. And we mentioned it already, Nigma might not be the most comfortable on the Timbersaw.
It's pretty much...
But Bait is, Ghostic is.
It's like 80% of the time it's a Weehaw hero, and then another like 19% of the time it's a Miracle hero, and then there's that 1% chance it's a Mind Control hero. And I think it's an insanely good offlane hero, right?
It is. I love this support duo from Bait. They have AA plus a Fisher, long-range initiation. This is what Gambit does. I don't know if they've taken this from their book, but pretty easy to set up ganks from really far away. You just need one hero who can be active, plus Earthshaker and, of course, the global AA ulti.
It's a nice way to be able to low commit, go for a kill, and simultaneously have like really good team fight off of this relocate in. right? Like you've got like 2 supports that output a lot of AoE damage and a core that has the ability to lock them down with the arena.
I want to see an offlaner that builds into pipe this game. You mentioned the magical damage from AA and Earthshaker, and they definitely need something like. I wouldn't mind seeing a Baron.
Enchantress.
So an Enchantress pickup, which, you know, can go a lot of different positions. It actually can be a 3. It can be a 5 as well. Kuro can play it as sort of a Chen-type role, which is where I'm going to assume it's going to be, especially drafted 3rd here. The Enchantress is, since they gave Enchant a bonus damage on that neutral creep, it's become the most value skill for Enchantress. Everyone thought the impetus was going to be the way to be able to play Enchantress and just harassing people nonstop with that, but actually just maxing out Enchant and having a Satyr creep run up with an extra 60 damage, hitting people in the face, that's actually really powerful.
Also, a lot of people forget that it's a dispel.
Yeah.
So right now they don't have anything they can dispel, but during the mid game against certain carries and some abilities, it's extremely effective.
Yeah, I think there is the Timbersaw. I mean, you've got IO Tiny. Timbersaw has always been good against that combination. Then on top of that, you've got an Enchantress who is a hero that you want to be able to find ways to do damage without right-clicking her. Well, Timbersaw does that in spades, obviously.
How do you deal with Timbersaw? I think the only way pretty much here is get... they don't have a Spirit Vessel carrier. IO, he needs a lot of time to buy it. I'm a big fan of Ursa, I gotta say. Either Ursa or OD.
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 I think so. OD is a hero that Nigma has been kind of stuck on and hasn't been super successful. They had this great run where in the minor and then a lot of the major, they were picking up OD and they were dominating people with it. But the patch actually changed a bit. And the biggest reason, I think there's a lot of different reasons why OD is less successful now, but one of the biggest reasons, I think, is the offlane meta is different, right? You are no longer drafting Omni Knight Abaddon every single game, where OD is both good with those heroes and good against them. That sustained offlane meta was perfect for an OD who could, you know, just use his damage over time and his build-up to dominate, you know, Abaddons and make him disappear during his ultimate. Meanwhile, these protective heroes were also allowing him to play a lot more forward.
Even though he has this high cooldown ulti, he can still fight even without it. That's what I like about this hero. Now they have ways to deal with the Timbersaw. He can't be like that in your face. You need to stay away from him at the early levels, but once OD gets the levels, he can deal with him.
Yeah, I see a lot of sustain and saves on the side of Nigma and not really any of that on the side of Bait. Is that something that you feel like they should be fixing with their last pick? Because right now, like, if Mars goes for his Arena of Blood, all OD needs to do is put that Mars in an Astral Imprisonment and nobody's going to die. And even if he does manage to catch someone in the Arena of Blood, Io is going to be in there to heal him. Enchantress is going to live for a very long time too. How is Bait going to solve these problems?
I'm not really sure, because they need like a really big win condition. You know, so Leshrac has traditionally been good against OD, but I think you need something that is better than that. One of the things that also happened, I think there's 3 things, right? The offlane meta changed. Yep. The faster cores started being picked after the major when the new patch came in. So these heroes that are just kind of like running out of objectives, that actually abuses OD's timing. And then the last one is that lanes are less important than they were in the previous patch. Lanes were super important back then when it meant you could control outposts as a result. Bait. So for me, I think Bait, they're just missing a win condition that is relatively fast, because Nigma will win this game past 25, 30 minutes.
Yeah, Bait is in a really bad spot right now. You have a matchup that you can't win. Whoever comes against OD is going to lose his lane. Either there's a Timbersaw or a Mars, so you have 2 cores. Also, they banned out Ember Spirit, which implies that they possibly think it's wide. It's an off-lane Tiny.
We've had GH play Tiny, but he's probably going to play the Io. We have Weha Tiny and we have Miracle Tiny. So the Ember ban is a little questionable
So
at the moment.
It's like side lane OD versus the Timber. I don't know.
I think you
That's
want to
kinda
have
weird.
OD in the mid lane, though, and we're kind of looking for a mind control hero still. That's what I would imagine. Also, the way you guys are talking about what the last pick for bait needs to be, if that last pick is going to be the win condition, that means PO is going to be the win condition. And we just talked at length about how PO is the weakest link in their lineup at the moment, and that is already a very scary place to start off your game with.
Yeah, from like an outsider's perspective, it's a scary thing. But at the end of the day, if you're inside the team, right, and you chose this guy to be, well, you chose him to be the replacement to Kuman, but you chose him to be on your team, right?
10
You've got to
seconds
believe in
remaining.
him. And setting him up with the last pick
5
and
seconds
having the win
remaining.
condition on him, that is kind of saying, like, hey, we believe in you to be able
Radiant team
to win this game. And Oracle.
And Enchantress Core. Then.
Yeah, it's not a good Timbersaw game. Enchantress will get a lot of farm from position 3, pure damage from Impetus against Timbersaw. He won't be using those Timber Chains aggressively, especially also even defensively for some extra damage. And they need, you said win condition, I don't
10
see that
seconds
hero.
remaining.
Like, they need some hyper carry because right now
5
these 4
seconds
heroes are
remaining.
like all in on the early game. Yeah, you can set things up in the mid game once Earthshaker gets a Blink Dagger plus AA combo, and here it comes.
It's a
Choose your hero.
PA. We haven't really seen PA this tournament, I believe. So that's at least the first one.
Well, if you look at it, right, so you've got Enchantress and OD cores.
Yeah.
They're the ones to be able to build MKB and both output their damage through right-clicking people. So there's that. You are still notoriously low mana hero.
Oh,
So you're
again.
going to be taking a lot of
yeah.
damage from Sanity's Eclipse.
Yeah.
That's a little problematic. You are susceptible to burst magic damage, which Tiny does have that, obviously. But it's a fast hero.
Yes, and you do always want to buy BKB on that hero anyway, so that will allow you to counter OD as well.
But there's no
You have to get to that point.
steroid for PA in this game. There's
Yeah.
no Magnus, so she needs to have a really good laning stage to be effective. And this Oracle last pick, we don't see that too often, saving the position 5 pick for the last pick. It's going to give them another save on top of OD's Astral. I'm going to say Nigma won this draft 80-20.
I definitely agree. Too much single target save. No way to end the game, by the way. Mars, PA, like neither one of those are high ground hitters. At best, you've got Roshan taking, but there's not a whole lot there to be happy about ending the game quickly against a lineup that is going to outscale you for sure.
All right, you guys are painting a very grim picture for Bait and all the Bait fans out there, and I am looking to hear from you guys who needs to do like amazing in order for Bait to still win this. 20% is not a whole lot of chance.
RNG. PA's crit. This is what we're looking for.
That's what we need.
Wow, guys.
All right. Well, in the cold, harsh world of 30-20 or wherever we're at right now, apparently all we have is luck to lie upon.
All right, well, I am hoping that our commentators can paint a better picture for Bait for this upcoming game in the first game of the best of 3. So let's head over to Gods and Kyle.
Well, Lacoste says RNG is what Bait need, and you guys are perhaps just as lucky as me. I get to cast with Kyle. It is my lucky day, Kyle. How are you doing today?
I'm doing all right, yeah. I'm hyped for some Dota. We got 2 legends on stage captaining their respective squads. I think we're going to see some style. I'm very upset that you've given away Wisp to a team with Kuroki on it, along with GH. I think this is a pretty poor decision, but maybe they've got a plan.
Yeah, we saw the Iotani yesterday in a game that
Was
I don't
over
think you
12
can read
minutes.
too much into that one. So we'll
Yeah.
see just how good this Iotani opening is, something that Nigma going to go back to. We'll be helping ourselves in the game soon. Do you feel strongly about Nigma's draft over Bait?
Yes. It's more the timings. I know, as an example, Timbersaw is a counterpick to the Tiny and the Wisp, but if at 13 minutes the Tiny has 3 items, you know, you're not a real hero, actually, and you don't apply the same amount of tower pressure, and you can't farm as fast. That's the big key, is that Nigma are just going to get so much more out of the map, because every minute that passes, they're farming so much more efficiently with this combo.
Thoughts on the new Tiny item build, the Gloves of Haste Quelling Blade?
Hey, why not?
Start with?
You know, you...
The fastest possible treads. You don't need regen when you have your Aya who buys the regen, I guess.
Yeah, it's remember back when we had that tri-lane versus a solo off-laner hiding in trees meta, and you'd have like snipers going safe lane, rushing Midas with gloves first,
Yep.
same deal. I don't mind that here because you have GH, he's got the headdress, so you've got 4 regen, Tiny effectively rocking 5,
Yeah.
and then Tangos. No biggie.
Get some incredibly fast trades. We saw some insane record-setting farm on his Tiny last game. Definitely a game not to take too much away from, but we'll see how B8 can match up against. They're going to be in for a rough time. Even down bottom, you can see Pio, who didn't have the best day yesterday, already getting harassed down very low.
Yeah, this is Enchantress Oracle, 2 of the better harassing heroes just in Dota 2 right now. Specifically Enchantress, you can see just these level 1 impetus shots are so much damage.
Yeah, it does have that cooldown now, but not something you're worried too much about when you're laning. And mid lane?
This is the matchup I want to key on because I think if anyone's going to win this game for Bait, it's going to be Dendy. This is his signature hero right now. I love watching him play Mars, and while sure, certain elements, maybe he doesn't read the map as well as he did back 10 years ago, but individual skill-wise, Dendy is still on top form, and this man can play the hell out of Mars.
Oh, we're going to see a gank coming in. The fissure block is there, and, well, you cannot spear into a fissure. I don't know if Dendy knew that one or not, but he does now.
It's all about the denial.
I didn't know that one, to be honest. Not a Mars player myself.
Because doesn't it affect Pango roll as a structure? Like you'll bounce off of it, right?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah, because it's considered like a wall. It's not considered a wall.
This is the thing about Dota, because I get flame for not knowing stuff half the time, but it's like Dota is literally just memorizing things.
Yeah.
There's no mechanics, please. There's no rules to this. You just got to know what happens.
Yeah, he kind of hesitated, like, wait, do I spear him here or not? Maybe he just wanted to do the harass. Obviously, Dendy plays a lot of Mars. He probably does know how that mechanic works. Getting the harass in on Weeha with a guaranteed stun setup is some good damage that is going to force that regen out.
Yeah.
Down bottom, Mind Control getting brought low, and this could be a good kill with the Fissure coming in, but they do lose the AA. Mind Control not getting the experience for it, but does get a kill. First Blood going the way of PA.
Oh, top lane.
Ooh, Miracle getting very low. We'll need that Aya to come and heal him on up. And not really a lane that's going to pressure Timbersaw much at all.
No, they are not. But in theory, you will start farming, and you don't really mind if Timber gets ahead because you have the OD, right? You're going to have this 1-to-1 hard counter as the game progresses, so you don't mind if Timber starts with the lead because you're one of the few heroes in Dota that can actually rotate pretty much any point in the game, get a couple hits off, drop the hammer.
Whew. Avalanche being used, Miracle keep himself alive, but Gostic may have another Whirling Death soon if he latches this one with all that stat reduction, doesn't hit him with the trees. And Miracle actually turning this one around. He's healed up a lot with that Headdress regen, but Gostic, geez, that Whirling Death. That's level 1 Whirling Death, but...
How much damage? The strength reduction, too. You obviously take away max stats of the main attribute. That is so much damage. They're going to kill MC again. Nice job.
Okay.
This is big because the PA against Ench matchup gets way more PA favored as he grabs levels, and suddenly you're threatening kills instead of vice versa.
Yeah, core Edge you're actually okay against because, yeah, you just blink on top. You get bonus attack speed against Untouchable, and then you're also on top, so the impetus damage is just not as scary. So, very good start for Bait right now. And Dendy mid lane, look at this. Yes, he's having a fantastic time. He's winning the lane so far.
Dendy is still, I would argue, in the first 8 minutes of the game in a one-on-one mid, one of the 3 best players in Dota 2. And if you disagree, feel free to challenge him. But, you know, I watched
challenge him, not you.
He turned Cinderin into mincemeat. And most pros...
And Cinderin, we all know, is like top 5 mid player.
That's exactly right. I'm never going to let him live that one down. A little bit of harassment on LeBron, but he's going to be just fine. I will say, as the game progresses, Bait do have a hell of a team fight lineup, and they have answers, right? You've got the Ancient Apparition against Oracle, Ench, Wisp. You don't have that just unkillable Tiny factor like you saw in that one game where they won at about 14 minutes.
Yeah, just seeing how this laning stage is panning out and the pressure Bait's putting on. And the fact, like these heroes, it's a PA. This hero scales incredibly well. Timbersaw, one of those heroes, like, if you have a good start, can have a great game.
Yeah.
I'm feeling like Bait have gotten everything they wanted out of the start of this game.
Oh, yeah.
Things that are in a pretty good position for them.
Oh, this is great. And I think King R has just done a great job. He secures top a bit so that Timbersaw can lane by himself. And that's key because IO Tiny, once the Timber's level 3+, you don't really do anything to him anymore. Even if you were somehow able to land a kill, it would require all your mana and half your health. And now they're just going to be able to play as 2. That's a level advantage for your Timber. He's almost 5.
That next Whirling Death, how much damage? Not enough, not next to the trees. Instead, it's a kill down bottom as Pio gets another one.
Yeah, they traded the AA for it, but you're going to take that as long as your PA grabs that last hit.
And importantly, they're trading kills, you know, a 3 position for a 5 position, but they're winning the CS battle. Because often when you're having these kill trades, what's more important is who's actually farming in the lane, not getting the kills. And PA with a 25 to 12 CS advantage.
And I love the way that the Timber's itemized up top as well. Going for that Orb of Venom straight into the Soul Ring, max pressure and ability to stay on map. He just wants to stand in this lane and click Miracle, and that's what he's going to continue to do here, not trying to push with the catapult.
These offlaners with their Orb of Venoms, he's been seeing a lot of it.
Yeah. It's so much damage, man. 5 per tick.
Yep. Yeah, every time you get a right click in, that's basically a tiny little extra mini nuke. And Miracle getting bullied under the tower. The Radiant Glyph even used just to get a bit of extra tower damage in with the siege creep. Gossick decides, yeah, 3 points in reactive, still not quite enough to just sit under that tower. Maybe if he had the 4 point.
And the key, I think, with they're applying so much pressure, right? You think about these lanes. All 3 cores can kill. It makes it so easy to play this Shaker, and it makes Nigma's supports play defensively within the lanes. There's no stacking being done. It was a big reason that Wisp Tiny got so out of control in that game we saw yesterday. But Crow can't leave bottom. His Enchantress will just feed.
Kuro misclicking the siege creep there with that nuke, and back mid, here comes again with the Arena, the spear. He's looking for it. He'll nail it onto the OD, gets the nice kill. King R, you mentioned this guy. It feels like he's been the difference maker in this laning stage.
Oh, for sure. It's the Dream Shaker game. You need at least 2 lanes to kill, and you give me 3, you're having a hell of a time.
Yep.
And it's significantly easier because that Timbersaw matchup up top is so strong. Look at him. He's just hitting the tower. There's nobody in that top lane for Nigma right now.
And that's the thing when this IO TP is mid. We saw this yesterday with the IO Tiny. Anytime there was a gank in these other lanes, GH was the first to TP to try and save them. That was fine because Tiny had a free lane. This game, he's being contested. He has no HP regen. He's being bullied. If that IO leaves, he's got to go back to jungle. He's only level 4.
Yep. The key here, though, is Bait, you've got to continue applying pressure because much like we saw a couple times when OG was running the carry wisp, this Tiny concept's somewhat similar in that you're going to farm to a certain timing and you just go. You got an OD, you got an Oracle. Your draft it doesn't really deal with BKBs either, so you want to just keep running at Nigma. Find these kills, hop onto the squishy backline. You look at this, it's 4 really squishy heroes and a Tiny. So before Tiny's online, there's no real buffer for these backliners. You can just dive forwards with your Mars, with your Timber, with your PA. All of them can go in.
Then he's looking to heal himself back up, back at base, and then he's going to go back to mid lane. But while all this is going on, Gostic, kind of just pushing on his own up top, is going to take the T1 tower. Nobody can fight this Timbersaw. They're in full avoid the Timber mode, and that means bottom lane, a lot of action going down as PO going in, looking for this Oracle kill with the right-click damage and the cold feet landing. He'll get it. Mind Control wants to take PO, but he can't get the impetus in because PO's just staying nice and close, staying on top of him. Another cold feet comes out with the ES Totem stun, and Mind Control's going to be close, gets the last right-click onto King R. Bait looking fantastic here.
Yeah, and definitely coming in as big underdogs in this match. New squad against the TI runner-ups. But so far, they're certainly able to go neck and neck. But if you look at the gold disparity, it's just 1,000 gold, and that's pretty much that top tower. These Nigma heroes will farm. Miracle and GH in the jungle are going to clear 4 to 5 camps per minute. And, you know, this isn't going to stop. Now the relocate is active, and suddenly it's very easy for Nigma to make a move. You've got an OD. You Astral anybody poured in. That's a kill.
The one thing, even though it may only be a 1k gold lead, though, like seeing some of these core net worths, it's all 3 cores on Bait having a good start, and it feels like Nigma have some catching up to do on Enchantress and OD.
This is fun. You're going to
trade it back? No. Gossic's like, I'll get it later. Not 10 minutes yet. 10-minute one, not giving an insane amount of experience as well. That was something that got reduced a while back with how much Outpost allowed people to snowball. I think they were like, what, 75 experience each, so it's 150 for your team at most.
Yep. It goes up by 200 every 10 minutes, so it's like 150, 350, 550.
Yeah, so it more than doubles for the 20-minute one.
Yeah.
Yeah, it feels like 20 minutes is where, like, okay, we should probably get these. It's quite a lot of, if you get both, it's a big XP swing, whereas if you have neither at 10 minutes, it's like, okay, can help the supports more than anything.
You just forgot most of the time, and often it's also just more valuable. The movements take longer because heroes have less itemization. So if you're controlling both outposts, you're probably losing runes or a tower somewhere. It's not as important.
Yep.
Well, Mask of Madness up and running.
And same build we saw Miracle do yesterday. Has the SMY queued up as his next item pickup. No changes there. Now on top of the net worth, so Miracle catching up with all that jungle farm, the stacks that have been there for him. But at the same time, it doesn't feel like Bait are having a bad start by any means. They're just pressuring towers. You know, your Tiny's going to sit in the jungle. Well, we're going to stick together, start pressuring some of these towers. Our PA can go jungle, farm up her item timings.
Yeah, this is going to be tough. Nigma, you want to defend your mid tower. You know, we know Dota. You've got to keep this alive, but I'm not sure you can team fight into Mars AA right now, especially with Timber so nigh unkillable. They do have the hammer to drop.
Importantly, AA not quite level 6 yet, so at least no Ice Blast to worry about.
Dendy's camping that haste room. There it goes.
Gonna go charging in, has the arena. The follow-up damage is there from the Chakram, but doesn't want to go under the tower. We are there with an Astral Save, as well as the Oracle, not level 6, but...
This is good because Bait are pressuring with just 3, while their PA is still bottom, and King R's running around. So you're still controlling a lot of the map, and because PA is still bottom, look at this. Maybe we can go set up a kill. There's that haste room. Yeah, he's a dead MC.
Yep, we get the spear, and Enchantress gets deleted. Gossick, while all this is going on, there's no counter kill. Normally when you see a TP like that, Nigma should ideally be looking to just jump in, get a counter kill elsewhere because so many heroes show bottom, but they don't have that jump. Who's going to catch?
And not just that, they're playing under vision right now. You see this really nice high ground ward placed earlier. There's a Shaker just standing there to counter initiate, and how does Nigma open? Walk up
for Avalanche, or Astral,
This draft functions because you can place a Tiny who's just a turret of both damage and survivability between you and the enemies. There's no real initiation factor on this squad.
You can see the vision. Radiant really is just that one ward, but it's such an important ward around that mid lane. Something
so good.
Yeah, I mean, this is one of those best ward spots in the game kind of thing. It very commonly gets dewarded, but if you can keep it up for even this amount of time, it's a great use to have.
Top lane.
Yeah, we rotate on in. King R, is he going to get out of this one? Not the case. He was just looking for his level 6 up there. Back at mid, Timber continuing to pressure the tier 1 mid tower.
Going for it. AL.
Yeah, he might drop the OD Eclipse. He does do so. One more right click, and Weeha gets the kill.
It's just King R getting a little greedy because since he's top, that safety factor middle to counter initiate's not there. Nigma know this. They immediately go in. That's that OD versus Timber disparity. If you get the open and there's no one nearby, you're going to be able to kill him with a hammer drop. Barely. You know, you need that last shot, but it's unfortunate. They're just getting a bit greedy.
Yeah, and playing mid lane. Not many trees when you're on the other side of the river. There's water behind you, but there's no trees.
Yeah.
So did not have the escape, and now...
This is something where you see, I think more teams are going to look to replicate what OG does in these sorts of scenarios where, you know, think of your PA as like your Ana, your Sumail, right? Play the game 4-on-5, but importantly, just run at the enemy, right? You're strong. Trade heroes, who cares? But force Nigma to respond with 5 and give your PA free reign of that bottom lane so he can start pressuring that tower by himself. Fight these guys.
They come, they're smoked up. Dandy's here with the arena, is going to hit the spear as well. They need to kill GH first. He's giving Miracle a lot of sustain, but they didn't bring down the IO. No buyback available, or he might want to use that one. But Miracle, he's been ice blasted, but he's still got a decent amount of health. They're going to turn around, bring down the Shaker. The damage is not there from Bait to bring out some of these key core heroes. Gossip going charging with the Timber Chain. They want Miracle still. Dandy, he's got the damage. Can he land a spear or anything? They're actually being countered here as Mind Control rotates in the impetus damage, doing some big nukes as well. Dandy going for the TP out. Miracle, one more right click. They're going to get the kill. Mind Control with that last impetus, and it backfires as Bait just unable to bring down the tanky Tiny. He's so farmed, 6.6k net worth.
Yep.
That Sanj.
They got a bit split. They wanted to get Miracle, but then GH starts channeling Reload. You got to swap over to him.
If
and,
they
the AA blast,
GH
I
at the
think,
start, maybe it would have been okay, but they did hit Miracle with the AA blast.
Yeah, but then you have to kill the whip, and it runs out, and you've got problems. In addition, PA wasn't there for that engagement. I think if you're going to take that sort of fight, like, do it as 5. Like, let PA play independently and just kind of teleport in casually to grab a double kill. But that felt like a little forced. And Nigma, this is why they're such a tough team to take down, right? We know how important this mid tower is. So do they. And they've done an admirable job of keeping it not just alive, it's still near 1/3 HP. We're 14 minutes into the game, and they were getting crushed in the laning phase.
And having that tower alive has allowed this Tiny just continue flash farming the jungle. His net worth getting a bit out of control. Can't keep, I mean, it's a PA. You don't, until you're Battle Fury, you just cannot contest. Free Battle Fury with the Tiny. We saw Miracle winning games on Medusa, and it feels like Tiny's the same thing, where you have this AoE farming ability to just farm stacks, and it's back to this 4 Protect 1 Dota for Nigma.
Yep. And you got to think that as this game continues, it's going to favor them. Late into the game, that AA, the Battle Fury PA plus maybe a Deso BKB. He's not going to get Deso actually because Denny's going to grab one. But you know, that third item, that's when things start to turn because you have the BKBs online. But until then, in the mid game, Nigma have this super fat Tiny and then the OD Oracle factor. You have constant save, and it removes the ability for Bait to put on pressure because Timber can't actually threaten Wii properly.
Yeah, that's. They may think hey, we've got this AA, we can stop the IO heals, but when you can use the Oracle and the OD saves as well, triple save behind your 4 protect 1 strat. We've seen some teams go away from these oracles and these save heroes, but when you're playing with Miracle on your team on these hard carries, it's a pretty good tool to have.
Yeah, for sure. And also, yeah, AA is a counter to the Wisp, but the problem is once you use the AA blast, right, Kuro now has free reign to do as he pleases, and a lot of players feel like the Oracle AA relationship's actually Oracle favored, because if you ult someone that's AA blasted, it'll last long enough for the shatter to dissipate, and then you're going to get the full effect of the healing as the ult pops. In addition, you have cleanse available for the AA cold feet. It makes sense, and it's very difficult now for Bait to play this, because if you don't get the Wisp and the Oracle, and maybe even Weehaw, they're going to be able to save each other.
So ideal scenario for AAs, you want to Ice Blast someone after the Oracle ultimate to make sure that they get 0 healing? Is that how the timing works?
You kind of just want to blow somebody up, but it's just easier said than done. And again, it's because you don't really have an answer necessarily, right? Because you got to use your spells. You can't wait 10 seconds for Kuro to pop his ult before you use yours if you're going to try and actually kill Miracle or the Wisp.
Well, they've got no real answer for Miracle walking up and taking some towers with the IO behind. PA's Battlefield almost done. Leading his team in net worth and out-farming the other 2 Nigma cores, you can't really expect PA to be even close to a Tiny's farm. It's kind of like, this to me feels like Alchemist when you have this IO Tiny. There's no hero that can farm as fast as it. Maybe if you have a Medusa yourself or something.
And that's the strength of the lineup, right? Like, that's why this hero is good. These heroes that can just get more out of the map than you as the enemy team can replicate.
Yep. So you're always going to be an item behind, but the idea for Bait is that they're going to have 3 cores having a decent game that can...
And you can see how the tables turn once Miracle gets farmed enough, and he just plants himself in between him. The 4 Nigma heroes just behind him. You hit stuff, Miracle, make him come fight us. Once they open on you, we're going to go get frisky.
And the beauty of having multiple saves is normally against an IO strat, you want to jump the IO, take him out. So someone like PA, who's great at jumping on top of an IO, is good, but there's an OD Astral, there's an Oracle save as well with the False Promise, so you can't overcommit to kill GH, you'll just end up dying. This PA doesn't have a BKB or anything.
And it's just became a very difficult game for Bait to play for the reasons you just stated. PA, he's at a point now where his farm will start to accelerate, not quite as much as Tiny, but he won't be outpaced this quickly. However, he needs a BKB before he can actually play Dota 2 here.
Yeah. It does feel like, from what you're saying before, there's maybe a little bit of a timer, though, for Nigma. You don't want this game to drag too late. PA, you get enough items, is going to outscale. Mars, Timber, good heroes as well.
In theory, yes. But the thing is that if your Tiny is like 5k net worth ahead and the OD is equal with your enemy cores, things get more complicated. And whenever you're playing, when you're the team with multiple saves and the other team has 0, you're always going to feel more confident taking fights, because Bait need a perfect fight, whereas Nigma just need to be around. It's much easier for them to win engagements.
Well, Nigma just going to roll down the bot lane. They take the tier 1 and now just taking tier 2. So far uncontested, but here comes the smoke rotation from Bait. They're going to run into some of these supports. Kuro's on a bad target to find. Want to take out some of those backline saves. He's a great one to go on first. Dendi, though, he's been completely isolated, does not have a BKB yet, and does get the spear on the backlines. Blink, the totem, but he gets the Echo Slam as well, and they've taken out the Tiny. That's Miracle down. They've got this fight now. Ghosting with a great chakram. Going to get a couple in there. No tree to Timber Chain to, though. And it looks like Nigma may want to look to turn this one. Bait have lost Dendi here. They're going to get the Timber Chain out. Disengaged for now, but they may look to go back in. PO still nearby. He's hiding for now with the blur. Doesn't want to go back in. Mind Control charging forward. He's just not afraid of anything.
I like this call. Just get the hell out of here. You killed Miracle. You got what you came for. Sure, you traded Dendi, but you'll take that. And again, you can see, though, it's the little things that Nigma do that keep them at this top tier level, right? The fact that you have Kuro running up to place a sentry and ward on the high ground because they feel this smoke coming. They fight around their vision. Sure, you lose Miracle, but that could have been so much worse. More inexperienced team. If you commit a little harder to say Miracle, suddenly you've lost 3, you've lost 4, but they maintain their composure. They kite back, put themselves in a position where suddenly it's the Timber that's overexposed, and you end up trading evenly. So really nice job there. And just bring Miracle back. He's got a death, so good lord.
This is where towers start to melt. This is the Tiny build of choice for Miracle. We saw it last time. Summer looks like he's going to go for the heart instead of the AC, so survivability over more damage. The last game was going. Can you defend high ground against this Tiny build?
You can with ults, but you need the Mars ultimate and you need another great AA blast. And keep in mind, that was without an Astral or Kuro popping his ulti. That's the only reason Miracle dies there.
Well, they want to stop poking the next creep wave. It looks like Miracle's going to just plant himself on the high ground. No Echo Slam up just yet. Nice spear attempt, but he doesn't get him to latch on the tree, and now Miracle is going to start hitting the tier 3 tower. Cold Feet not going to be there to deal with this, and Miracle's just going to take a tier 3. There's just no answer. GH is just sitting behind him, buffing him up, and...
Now you've used the Ice Blast, so there's no way you're killing Miracle any longer.
When are these ultimates coming back up? That Echo Slam still not available, and he does get the disarm off, but he may just die for this one. Ghostic gets absolutely shredded. The Enchantress getting the last hit, and yeah, Mind Control gets the kill. Meanwhile, Miracle going to get the racks.
The Kuro is just...
protection. We saw this before. They can also just kill through the backdoor protection.
And Kuro's just spamming his heal on GH, who takes damage and ignores it, which then heals Miracle for like 500 to 600 to cast.
So, 20-minute racks. Not what Bait were hoping for.
Nope. And it's crazy how limited the mistakes they made were, right? It's what, you gave Tiny, I don't even know if you could argue they were mistakes. It's just Nigma have a read on their timing, right? You're going high ground, there's no BKBs on the enemy, and they can't kill Miracle.
No BKBs, no ultimates are on cooldown. I mean, maybe if you're Bait, you don't take that fight in the jungle because you want to defend high ground and save your ultimates, but, I mean, they had an okay fight. They killed Tiny. Now we're going to see a similar thing happening in this mid lane, maybe, or we could see Nigma go back for Roshan. If they can get Aegis, how do you defend at that point? You may just have to give up your base.
I want to point out just a little thing that Nigma, every time they run this strat on Dire, they're killing that bottom racks. That's where they choose to push because it is the furthest lane from Roshan, thus the most valuable to take out. It sets up for this maneuver as Bait smokes the pit.
They have ignored bottom lane. They're going for the Roche contest. Mind Control stuck in the pit on half health here as Miracle Avalanche Toss combo is there. Pio gets brought down to half health already. Doesn't have the ability to fight this one as Miracle still getting brought very low, gets speared into a tree here. There's the blink! Echo on 4! Ice Blaster following up! The Mars ultimate traps everyone inside as well, but they haven't got any kills here. They just don't have the ability to deal with these saves here. King Ars completely blowing his kit here as Oracle does die in the backlines here. Is there any more? Pio, he's the guy you've got to look to. He needs some crits. He needs to go back in. He probably wants GH. As Oracle is down, he can try and get onto GH here. Pio then goes on the Eye. They've got to bring down the Eye. If they want to kill up Miracle, they get the kill. Now Pio in some trouble with the impetus of his own Mind Control. He's there. He blinks to the creeps. Insta buyback. With the Eye of buyback, though, they just can't continue to fight this one. Pio blinks out to his teammate. Nice toss coming in as they're going to look to continue to chase this one. Pio needs another blink out. Ghostic's got to stay nearby. They're pinging where they want him to go, but Nigma, they read this. They know it's coming. He blinks instead to the neutrals. And I don't see a way out for Pio here. Yeah, he's being abandoned. Timbersaw says, you're on your own. And that was the Dream Echo Slam.
Yeah, I think the
no one died.
The AA Blast, I think, just missed. Like everybody.
I saw it flying over, but like, yeah, what?
It was just maybe, I don't know.
Maybe get another look at that one, but for now, Roshan should go uncontested.
The problem is when it's a short-range AA blast, the travel time is deceptively slow, so it looked like they actually just all split.
And the AoE is quite small too.
Yeah, and it needs to land, not for the damage, but just to prevent the massive regen all these heroes are operating. Now there's an Aegis and soon have a heart. Oh, oof.
Yeah, hard fight.
And you can't really hope for more from Bait for an engagement, right? Like, that's the dream, but they just don't have the damage. If you don't 100-0 these Nigma heroes, they're going to be able to keep themselves up.
That's the thing. That Echo Slam was great. It caught 3, and I think even a 4th with like the tether in from Io, but there was still that 5th hero outside of it who can just start throwing those saves, the false promises, and then once the stuns have worn off, there's a defensive Astral.
Let's bring up all the items real fast, just to know, like, the way Nigma run this strategy, right? Look at what their other heroes have purchased. You've got a straight Hurricane Pike, Force Staff, AK, on you've got a mech, you've got a pipe. And then everything else, all the damage is on Miracle. This is how they're going to play. They know what the strategy is. It's for Protect 1.
And unfortunately, these BKBs weren't up in time. The PA, if you have a BKB there, you can just play so much more aggressive. You're not afraid of a whole lot. And both Dendi and Pio are just a little bit short.
Yep. They both think they just need
150 gold. He could sell one of those Wraith Bands. Is he going to do so? It doesn't look like that's the case right now. He's pulled close to the base here as Pio still walking back. He's not even here for the defense just yet. Nice spear. They've got to just delay this push. Use whatever you can to kite. The cold feet, the fissures, the stuns, the halberds, everything you've got. As they are doing a good job just kiting Miracle, but it's so difficult. The second he gets caught by the cold feet, Kuro's there with the Dispel as well.
He's not actually taking damage either, gods. Look at GH.
Yeah.
Constantly getting spammed on by Kuro. This is unbelievable healing per second. It cannot touch Miracle. You need to get into the back line.
Insane healing, and they've got the Dispel. They disarm him again. There's the stun. This time Kuro not there with the Dispel. They go on the back lines. It's Pio who's tried to catch Kuro, I believe, but he's been kited around. He doesn't get the kill. Now he BKBs. He blinks, and he does manage to take out Kuro. Next, he wants the OD. OD defensive Astral will keep himself alive, but meanwhile, on the front lines, Miracle doing doing a lot of damage here. Kuro buys back, but there's no way to get back to this fight just yet. They need the detection. They don't have it for Weeha. He stays alive with the invis, and then he blows up the PA, whose BKB got kited. Gostik's next to fall, and this could be the end for Bait.
It feels that way. They had an opportunity there. Both Wisp and Kuro were operating. Oh, Kuro had buyback, but Wisp didn't. They just couldn't take him down. And now there's a hard on Miracle, and they're just going to go for the throne. And they played that fight super. If you look at damage done, I'm pretty sure Bait are in the lead. It's just that they aren't finding kills.
Sure. There's just too much sustain on this Dire side. And this is one of those strats. You're in a best of 3, and it does feel like you just don't have answers and counters to it. You kind of just have to look at banning either the Aya or the Tiny in the next game, because this is now 2 games in a row where Nigma have just destroyed with it. And GG is called. Nigma claim game 1.
I mean, it's similar, and not just the combination being good, but you go back all the way to TI, right? That series against Secret, where straight up Nigma just first picked Alchemist. This is the way they love to play. It's the way, if you remember the old OG back in Majors, loved to play.